Welcome you all. This presentation will be in English, and we will go through the GDPR and Network Information System Security Directive regarding the artificial intelligence. Okay. What is all about? It's about the data protection, data leaking. What we can do with the Flowmon solution. We have a case study here in the first slide that Flowmon detected anomalous SSH connection to the server from an external device which was never being communicated with the server inside the organizations. Server was sending the data outside of the organization with large volumes of information via ICMP connection, and it became as a data upload anomalies. So with the artificial intelligence based on machine learning, we are able to identify, for example, anomalous behavior of internal server which is leaking of data outside of the organizations to the attacker. So it can help to GDPR, like a general data protection regulation, and Network Information System Security Directive from the European Union. It was just the first slide about the real case study from one of our clients. Okay, what is important? That the protection actually means early detection and a fast response. The importance of the security, the IT security from the technical or organizational measurement, is that the signature-based solutions are like border control. For example, firewall, antivirus, identity management. If you are not on a blacklist, you can pass. So this is about the signature-based technology. Artificial intelligence in a close future in these times will be the decisive factor for the identification of sophisticated attacks or security threats. And network behavior anomaly detection, which means that we are searching and exploring of the behavior and changes in the behavior in the network, could be, let's say, one of the ways how to protect sensitive data in the organizations. What we can do with the network behavior anomaly detections? We have, let's say, detect very quickly, close real time, a lot of security threats, like attacks, traffic anomalies, internal security issues, where the data leakage is exactly happening, using the unweighted applications, anomalies in the device's behavior, or any kind of the operational problems in the organizations. We are going to focus on the data leakage, the attacks, and unknown viruses, malwares, botnets, etc. Okay, if we are building the efficient security in the organization, we are building it as a prevention. That's very important that the 90% of the security budget is focusing mainly on a perimeter security, but only 25% of attacks target this point in the network. So 90% of the budget against the 25% of the sophisticated threats. From, let's say, artificial intelligence perspective, we should focus on really fast detection of sophisticated attacks or unknown security threats. And if we are able to detect it very quickly, we can provide really fast response on these unknown security threats. And what's the more important, provide really fast recovery regarding the data leakage, regarding the attacks which has the effect on the functionality of the critical services, critical applications, whatever. If it's not enough, this kind of the workflow steps, we should focus on forensics. So collect the data and provide forensic analysis. And this kind of the things and workflow steps, in the end, provide the better prevention. The Flowmon solution is mainly about the detection, response, recovery, and forensics, and helps our clients building the really sufficient, efficient prevention in the organization. Okay, let's go through the legislations. I'm going to start with the Network Information System Security Directive. Do you know about this directive? Who knows about it? It will become in the next year as a local law and enforcement for building the better security for the critical infrastructure in Hungary, also in other countries around the European Union. This directive was adopted from the European Parliament on 6th of July last year. And the member states, where the Hungary is also, have 21 months to transpose into the national laws and 6 months to identify the operators who will be responsible to reflect this kind of the national law enforcement. All of this Network and Information Security Directive is about safeguarding of critical infrastructure. For example, utility organization companies, government, finance, service providers, and many more, healthcare, and in the last, the digital infrastructure. Let's go through few articles on this directive. Operators of the essential services, which is the part of the critical infrastructures, need to take appropriate technical and organizational measurement to manage the security risks. It means that it covers the requirements to report any kind of the security threats without the delay, and report this kind of the incidents into the computer security incidents response team, which can be one national computer security incident response team or many, let's say, ordinary organization, steered in the organizations, but in the end, it will be about the one CERT, national CERT, where all the incidents will be reporting on the national level. Article 16, this is about more about the energy, healthcare, finance, government, service provider, etc. Digital services providers, it's covering e-commerce, cloud computing, and the search services. If the Google is operating here, Google should reflect this kind of the national law, Amazon, whatever. CERT centers will be responsible for collecting this kind of the incident data, monitoring and analyzing this kind of the threats, issuing alerts and warnings, and sharing the information with the other CERTs on a national level or international level inside the European Union. All of this it's about the better, efficient fight against the out-of-border cyber attacks into the European Union countries. Probably you know the term Security Operations Center. Probably now you know the term Computer Security Incident Response Team. But what's the difference between two kinds of the very important organizational measurements and efforts? Security Operations Center cover roles with the responsibilities to protect information inside the organization. It's about the prevention, detection, incident management, but mostly Security Operations Center is about the protection of the information of the organization. Computer Security Incident Response Team is the center of information security and incident management and a response on this kind of the cybersecurity threats. It's about the people, knowledges, and a really powerful workflow. Regarding the Network Information System Security Directive, we have made any kind of the research for the owners of the companies or the chief information officers, chief security officers. What's the plan of the IT security investment into the next 3 and 5 years? We can see that the first is the malware protection. That means make a better effort in the prevention side. Application security, event logging for infrastructure and information systems. They need the users, cybersecurity detection tools, and many more. This is the percentage. And this is about the Flowmon. So regarding the research, that's the fact that this kind of the artificial intelligence approach will be really important for the fighting to really sophisticated security threats, which were not able to be protected by traditional signature-based tools. Okay, national law will have many notices where will be described this kind of the organizational and the technical measurements, but it's not done at the moment, so we can wait for it. It's under construction on the national level. Okay, GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation. This kind of the formula you know probably better than Network Information System Security Directive. Little bit theory. Approved by EU Parliament 14 April 2016. You see that the directive about the Network Information System Security and GDPR was approved also last year and will be done in a national level the next year. 25 May of 2018. It's about the harmonization of data privacy laws across the Europe. It became from the DPD 2.0, EU Data Protection Directive from the 1995, but this kind of the directive hasn't any kind of the harmonization across whole European Union countries and states. The important terms, it's a data subject, which is the personal data, our data, your data, anyone's data. Data controller, data processor. Key changes against the directive, DPD 2.0. Increase in territorial scope. Penalties. 4% of annual turnover or 20 million euros for any kind of the data leaking or data breaching or whatever. Company could be fined 2% for not having the records Article 28, not notifying supervising authority and data subject, not conducting impact assessment. So if the GDPR will not be involved into the organization strategy, an audit came, or auditor came, and this thing will be happened, the penalty for the organization could be 2% of the turnover if the GDPR will be not adopted in organization. Data subject rights. Breach notification. If any kind of the data leaking or data breaching will become, the organization, the data controller, need to provide the report within 72 hours. The right to access, so it means right to obtain confirmation of the personal data is being processed and for what purpose. Right to be forgotten and data portability. What's the important from the technical, from the adaptability of this kind of the GDPR strategy into organization? It's that the controller, that means the organization responsible with the responsibility, shall implement technical and organizational measurements into the organization. So is the similar than the Network Information System Security Directive is. Both of this kind of the legislation changes has the technical and organizational processes measurements adopted into the organization. What's more, controller or organization should have a data protector officers. This is about the person or persons which has professional qualities, expert knowledges about the data protection laws and practices. It could be, for example, Chief Information Security Officer who is very efficient in data protection laws, or Chief Security Officers, and Chief Security Information Officer who is responsible, for example, for technology of this kind of the security, technical measurements of the security. So it's not just about the technologies, it's more about the processes and about the very, let's say, professionals who will be responsible to handle this kind of the regulation into the organization. This is from the tech privacy organizations, and it's very briefly they very briefly described what's going on in the GDPR from the terms like territorial scope, the players, personal data, consent, rights to data subjects. Few of these, this kind of the terms was on the previous slides, but if you Google it, you can find out a very efficient document what about is really this kind of the regulation. Okay, let's go through few articles in the GDPR and how to Flowmon as a part of the technical measurements could be helpful. Article 25 is about the data protection by design and by default. So technical organizational measurements. Flowmon is about the predictive network behavior monitoring, where we can really fast, close real-time detect any kind of the anomalous behavior of data movement between host, devices, networks, locations. So if any kind of the data breaches or data leaking is happening, we can very quickly detect it, report it, notify it. Article 32, security of processing. That's about the measurement that the controller should ensure a level of security appropriate to the risk. Yeah, it is about the pseudonymization, encryption, confidentiality, integrity, availability, resilience, and many more. If any kind of the data movement is happening inside the organization or outside the organization, we can very quickly, close real time, through the machine learning or artificial intelligence based on the machine learning, detect this kind of the suspicious behavior, means the threats regarding the data protection. For example, data uploading from inside the company to external attacker, the ransomware detection, any kind of the malicious activities, device damages, and many more. Article 33, notification of a personal data breach to the supervisory authority. This is about the 72 hours reporting if data leaking is happening into an organization. So if my or yours data are thieving by someone, the organization, the controller, should report it within the 72 hours. So we need very efficient tool to provide not only the fast detection, but also the fast response, alerts, and reports what's going on regarding this kind of the issues. So if we have a real-time network behavior monitoring solution, we can really fast detect this kind of the issue and alert it, notify it, and report it into the organization. Article 35, data protection impact assessments. All the time, it will be about the audits. If everything is going right, if GDPR is implemented into the organization and many more, and if we have visibility into the network, what's going on, we can provide the framework information about the data into the organizations. So assessments will be very important because of external audits. Okay, the difference between the Network Information System Security Directive and GDPR. The directive asks companies to have measures in place to prevent the attacks and minimize the disruption of this attack into the organization. Report this kind of the incidents. And it's about providing or defending and protecting the critical services, and the critical services shouldn't be affected and continues in a process. So for example, if we are an energy company and the external attack is going on SCADA network, for example, the Network Information System Security Directive is about protecting the critical services. That means the electricity should be providing anyway if this kind of the attack will become. So if hacker steal data, it's about the GDPR. If attacker remotely inside the special code into the electric generator to crash it, it should be notified by local authority to the CIRT, and this is about the Network Information System Security Directive, GDPR and ISD. So data leaking and sophisticated attack on a national critical services. So security tools matching the GDPR and NISD requirements. This is from the technical perspective. We have IPS, next generation firewalls, data loss prevention systems, unified threat management system, SSL decryption appliances, web application firewall. This is the inline tools. This is the out-of-band tools. This is the offline tools should be covered. regarding this kind of the legislation changes or requirements. Intrusion detection system, behavior analysis system, forensics tools, data recording, packet capturing, malware analysis tools, and security information and event management systems. And this covered by the Flowmon, the four types of the out-of-band tools. Very shortly about the Flowmon. Flowmon is an international vendor providing the innovative network traffic performance and security monitoring. We have own research and development center. We are the Czech-based company operating around the world. European origin was the important also regarding this kind of the directives and regulations for our clients around Europe. We are Gartner recognized, and we have many alliances, partnerships with the top vendors on the market, F5, Cisco, IBM, Radware, and many more. Thank you for attention.